Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S.
You guys so anti-dictators. Imagine if America was a dictatorship. You could let 1% of the people have all the nation's wealth. You could help your rich friends get richer by cutting their taxes and bailing them out when they gamble and lose. You could ignore the needs of the poor for healthcare and education. Your media would appear free, but would secretly be controlled by one person and his family. You could wiretap phones. You could torture foreign prisoners. You could have rigged elections. You could lie about why you go to war. You could fill your prisons with one particular racial group, and no one would complain. You could use the media to scare the people into supporting policies that are against their interests. I know this is hard for you Americans to imagine, but please try. Why are you guys so...
Del mar los vieron llegar. Mis hermanos emplumados serán los hombres barbados de la profecía esperada. Se oyó la voz del monarca de que el Dios había llegado y les abrimos la puerta por temor a lo ignorado. Iban montados en bestias, como demonios del mal, iban con fuego en las manos y cubiertos de metal. Solo el valor de unos cuantos les opuso resistencia, y al mirar correr la sangre se llenaron de vergüenza, porque los dioses ni comen ni gozan con lo robado. Y cuando nos dimos cuenta, ya todo estaba acabado, y en ese error entregamos la grandeza del pasado, y en ese error nos quedamos 300 años esclavos. Se nos quedó el maleficio de brindar al extremo extranjero nuestra fe, nuestra cultura, nuestro pan, nuestro dinero. Y le seguimos cambiando oro por cuentas de vidrio y damos nuestras riquezas por sus espejos con brillo. Hoy, en pleno siglo XX, nos siguen llegando rubios y les abrimos la casa y los llamamos amigos. Pero si llega cansado un indio de andar la sierra, lo humillamos y lo vemos como extraño por su tierra. Tú, hipócrita que te muestras humilde ante el extranjero, pero te vuelves soberbio con tus hermanos del pueblo. Oh, maldición de Malinche, enfermedad del presente, ¿cuándo dejarás mi tierra? ¿Cuándo harás libre a mi gente?
Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido, siempre ando bien cuido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra, no me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote, un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote, me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote, pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote, me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia, que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia, yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia, pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias, si no topa el poli en breve nos para en la calle, no puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle, no quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle, quiere mi dinero pero que chinga su madre, a la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo, pero tumbar gente quien les dijo que es trabajo, puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo, loco no me rajo, lo bueno porque
se armó la alianza más pesada del país, todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs, pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís, mis paisas en el gabacho bien truchas con la polis, loco en Guanajuato con los ojos bien tumbados, de coto con el quesada, rifando por todos lados, atento si prendo un blunt, en cabina cuando grabo, represento Nuevo León, junto a mi carnal el Davo, cuando voy pa' Jalisco el pasado está olvidado, con el perro de la C bien grifo, pedo y enfiestado, chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado, bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado, puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca, pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca, ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca, si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca.
Verde marihuana, blanca cocaína, roja la sangre que escurre de una nueva herida. Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida. Con disciplina y respeto sigo en siempre la movida. Ando bien high, la vida es un freestyle. Disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal. Crazy life todo el día, viendo live. Pinto tu barda con spray, lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía familia, no quiero que me revises. Prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Ya, ábranse cabrones, llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palancas. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada, se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta. Pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y humo de planta. 2, 3 cabrones dando lata y yo haciendo más plata. De esto la vida se trata y pa' que sepas no es barata. MC da bolos desbarata con cada escalón que sube. Yo tuve la suerte de hacerme fama en YouTube. Hay 2, 3 raperos de antaño que me bajé de su nube. Los mandé pa' su casa y de premio hasta les pagué el Uber. Si alguien me tira es porque sabe bien que domino el negocio y quiere de mi parte. No quiero darlas de grande, pero si me tiras la neta me toca humillarte. Soy capitán, llevo el estandarte. Somos muy pocos los que hacemos arte. Este flow si es de Marte, tú dale like y comparte.
México lindo y bandido, diario a Diosito le pido que me cuide a la familia si un día el cora ya no late. Estoy bendecido porque me cuidan los míos. Orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Jaque mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. La cosa por la frontera se pone violenta, no importa el rango. Toda la raza jalándole duro, si hay algo seguro es la muerte en donde ando. El sudor y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlando. Se roban la atención, ya saben quiénes son. Vatos locos con sazón como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el velo si ando todo pelón. Levantando la bandera, viva México cabrón.
Es el perrito de la selva. La bandera con un águila, Simón, mi tierra es esta. Me vale si mi piel o si mi acento les molesta. Acá jalan horas extras, nunca duermen la siesta. Están los que van pa'l jale y los que la viven de fiesta. Otros que en el pintón se tatúan de corazón. 3 colores en el pecho, morirían por su nación. Aunque su puto gobierno los puso en la situación de no terminar la escuela y terminar en la prisión. ¡Viva México, ladrones! ¿Qué hubo el expresidente? Ya saben que por mí policías chinguen a 20. Y ahí están mis 20 pa' la cagua. Aguas, que es tierra caliente de Chiapas hasta Chihuahua. Wow, 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 yipi-yo, yipi-yucas. Buenas, Montequín, Aguas, Tijuas y San Lucas. San Luis Potoyes, Mataulipas, La Puebluca. Dime si o no, loco, acá tienen lo que buscas.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Puro hip hop mexa perros 2023.
Ey yo, ey yo.
Somos la santa carnal.
Ey, ey, dale,
Los machigones de la plaza.
Oye, DJ donde que los scratches. Desde alzada, mi perro. No saben quién soy o sí. Oye.
Viva México, cabrones.
Thor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
It's working. Right. It is working. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me remind you guys real quick who this is. Y'all that follow this channel understand exactly what I mean by that. I mean the entire indigenous hermanos y hermanas in this continente. What's going on with this? Let me fix this real quick. Hold on. Then I'll get into my. There we go. All right, chill. All right, man. Let me say this real quick. Hey, good to have you here, brother Ayat. Yeah. Experto. Damn, dude, it's been a bit. Hey, what up, Joe? What up, brother? Good to have you guys here. Some of you guys I knew. I told, or I had mentioned about this topic, and I was gonna wait to do the class this weekend, man. But there's so much going on every day, and it just wasn't sitting well in my spirit to put it away or to put it aside. And I thought it was just enough. So, unlike, plus, you look around, whether Facebook or even these other YouTube channels, and it's either about debating bullshit or talking crap. And there's no actual sincere knowledge, or it should say historical facts that it can at least apply to the situations, and then also prove at the same time who the F these people are, bro. Why so much hatred in their spirit? And they claim to be so-called Christians. So today, we're going to really identify, hopefully, thoroughly, I guess. I'm trying to go through this fast, but, I got a lot of information because this is a very important topic to a lot of us here. But Esau have I hated. Esau have I hated. So you have to understand what that means. Do you get what I'm saying? Follow this little rabbit hole I'm going to hopefully take you through real quick. So let's begin with this here real quick. All right, and I know you guys have probably read this before. Shouldn't be confusing. Trump is speaking like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. This was past 2024, and this was actually mentioned before as well. And quite frankly, a lot of people just did not believe that this guy was really meaning what he was saying. And I'm going to tell you this right now. One of the things that really disturbed me, that bothered me so effing much, that really, really bothered me a lot, is how they so fluidly now want to just say illegal alien in every chance of the word. Now they're changing the illegal alien to terrorist. Okay, now they're actually saying that. So let's make sure that we understand the rhetoric has a history. This is from Atlantic. Again, I showed you the topic. Trump speaking to Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini. Once again, but Esau have I hated. Now, some of you guys think, no, that's not Esau. Fine. Listen, I'm going to show you some of their own material, and then you tell me. You connect the dots. Do I believe all of them are? No. We have a mixture of Japheth in there as well. But you have to understand the spirit of these people. The words democracy and tyranny were debated in ancient Greece. The phrase separation of power became important in the 17th and 18th century. The word vermin, as a political term, dates from 1930s and 40s. Now, I'm going to tell you and remind you that this vermin applied to us here specifically in 1917. That's when it really blew everybody's so-called secret of what they were doing, fumigating our people in order for them to cross the border. Because supposedly they had typhus. Let's not forget, that's when the actual first word of eugenics or the concept of vermin even begun. When both fascists and communists like to describe their political enemies as vermin, parasites, and blood infections, as well as insects, weeds, dirt, animals. Okay? So you have to understand what that word vermin means. Now, listen, I was going to look into this further, but now that I have access to this, I kind of want to look into this. This brother we were talking about this here, and I'm glad he reminded me of it. And this Black's Law, I think this should be it. But no, that's not it, man. I was looking for the Black's Law. Is it? Do I have the Black's Law dictionary? I better have it. Because that's technically what I'm looking for. Give me a second, family. Let me see. Hold on. Black's Law dictionary. Okay. Black's Law dictionary. Let's see if I can use this. Can I? Okay. Yeah. Vermin. Let's see if it's in there. Okay. Just needed to check. And I'm glad that I actually did look because I didn't have the link before. So the word vermin, as we can see, is a terminology that's used in eugenics often. And it's often connected with parasites, blood infections, insects, weeds, dirt, animals, as well as illegal aliens. Let's not forget that, okay? Because I'm going to Isaiah. Whoa. I'm going to tell you something. It is right in your face because it's all over the walls. Damn it. The term has been revived and reanimated in an American presidential campaign with Donald Trump's description of his opponents as radical left thugs who like vermin. This is when people start slipping the tongue. This language isn't merely ugly or repellent. These words belong to a particular tradition. Adolf Hitler used this kind of terms often. In 1938, he praised his compatriots who had helped cleanse Germany of all those parasites who drank at the well of the despair of fatherland and the people. He was talking about supposedly the Jews. In occupied Warsaw in 1941, posters displayed a drawing of the Loos with a caricature of a Jewish face. Check this. The slogan, Jews are lice, they cause typhus. What happened in 1917? Because they used these examples to implement those over there. Germans, by contrast, were clean, pure, healthy, and free vermin, which is how these Christian nationalists talk. Hence, Hitler once described the Nazi flag as a victorious sign of freedom and the purity of blood. That's what I wanted to show you. The purity of blood. I find it so interesting. So interesting that this guy said this.
You know, when they let, I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country. When they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous. The terrorism is going to be. And then we built a tremendous piece of the wall, and then we're going to build more.
You see that. Similar talk. Similar words.
I switched from due dates to due dates, and it made me go from weeks behind to weeks ahead of my deadlines. You see, I used to just bedrot all.
It's crazy what's going on. They're ruining our country, and it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country.
See? The blood of our country. The victorious sign of freedom and the purity of our blood. But you know what? Again, these are just parts of what the scriptures have taught us. If thou seest the oppression of the poor, correct? So let's continue. Stay on point.
Look at when I said that, and I never read. Mein Kampf.
Oh shit! I wanted to tell you guys the reason why I also wanted to do this is because I want to show you some hardcore material that they wrote themselves, which they express who they are. That's what they left us, so that's what we're going to do. All right, and because I know it's important to a lot of brothers and sisters, because you know a lot of us have families that have gone through something like this. Lord willing, nobody close enough to me has experienced this, but I've heard of people that have. All the stuff that has gone on. Let's continue.
They said, oh, Hitler said that in a much different way. No, they're coming from all over the world, people all over the world. We have no idea. They could be healthy. They could be very unhealthy. They could bring in disease that's going to catch on in our country, but they do bring in crime.
They do. All right, so I think we see enough examples of what we mean. I think so. I think we do. Now let's get into some scriptures here real quick, because I think what better way to do it than to get into Isaiah. Isaiah 33 verse 5, it says this: the Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He had filled Zion with judgment and righteousness, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Wisdom and knowledge. This is what can keep us stable, anticipating what is to come. Thy times, which is why it says that here. And the strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure of Yahweh. Now, let me remind you guys of something here, because I did say this and I don't want to forget. The scriptures are clear in regards to what we see. And when we see something, don't be surprised of how painful it can be. Ecclesiastes 5:8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and the violent perverting of judgment, and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. You see that? So marvel not at the matter, because that's not even the only thing you're gonna end up seeing. You think that? No, that's not even it. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Something very important. Okay, because
stop using ChatGPT like everyone else and do this instead.
Just caught this video.
To the men over 50 who don't know how to use AI.
So as you all know,
this guy here brought this report out real quick. We're gonna listen to a little bit of this, and then I'm gonna forward it real fast so I can show you a little bit more. This is real shit right here. This is also why I felt compelled in a way to do this, because it's like the time is at hand, man. This is going fast. This is going live. This is happening to a lot of people. You guys are not aware of this. Let's continue.
Act deportations. Now, I should point out, and we talked about this the other day, huge news came out. There was a MAGA judge in Texas who said, I'm slapping down the Alien Enemies Act deportations because his invocation of this law makes no sense. Right? The point was, that law has only been invoked historically when we're actually at war.
I wanted to play that because technically that's only what it's supposed to apply. Technically, right? Okay, well, let's continue.
Post here, the U.S. citizens caught in Trump's immigration crackdown, and they go through the specifics here. So 3 children, including a cancer patient from Louisiana, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old. The 4-year-old had cancer, shipped out with no medicine. The 2, the 4, and the 7-year-old are American citizens, shipped out with no medicine. Another guy here, Jose Hermosillo from Arizona. On April 8th, Jose, 19 years old, was arrested by Border Patrol agents near Nogales, Arizona, and jailed for 9 days. U.S. citizen jailed for 9 days by Trump's Gestapo. According to court records, agents accuse him of entering the country illegally after he reportedly told officers he was a Mexican citizen, a claim his family says he did not understand due to his learning disabilities and illiteracy. Hermosillo's girlfriend said he unknowingly signed a sworn affidavit prepared by agents. DHS later defended the arrest, saying it was a direct result of Hermosillo's own actions and statements. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs and Attorney General Chris Mays called the detention completely unacceptable and demanded answers from federal immigration officials after proof of Hermosillo's citizenship was provided. Prosecutors dropped the charges and he was released from ICE custody after 9 days. 9 days locked up as an American citizen. Understand something, guys. These ICE agents lie.
He's not lying, fam. He's not lying. Let's continue with this one.
Blocked by a federal court. So they're not allowed to detain anybody under this law, but they did it anyway. They did it anyway because they are the criminals. They are the criminals. They're not listening to a court order. They're the criminals. They provided the birth certificate and the social security card, and they still arrested him. Lopez Gomez, who primarily speaks Tzotzil, which is a Mayan dialect, was held in Leon County Jail for over 24 hours due to an ICE detainer, even after a judge verified his citizenship and dismissed the charges against him. Held for 24 hours. I hope that every single one of these wrongly detained people sues the federal government and gets a massive payout of millions of dollars. If you're locked up for 9 days as an American citizen, if you're locked up for 24 hours as an American citizen, because they lie about you, you should get handsomely rewarded as a result of that. Now, with a newborn, she faces deportation. A Guatemalan patrol detained her. Now, with a newborn, she faces... Right? A pregnant woman wandered the desert for days before Border Patrol detained her. Now, with a newborn, she faces deportation. A Guatemalan woman who had just given birth at an Arizona hospital was swiftly taken into U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody before being released on Saturday as she faces deportation proceedings.
You hear that now? The time is really, really, really at hand right this very moment. That's why, once again, Ecclesiastes 5 and 8, if thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. Be not surprised, but because who is it from? That is the question. That is why you're supposed to look at this. Who is it from? This is why the scriptures talk about wisdom, knowledge is stability for thy times. Why? Because if you understand how nations move and think, you protect your family, and then you also make sure that you look out for your people because of the wickedness of these people. This is not a coincidence, not a lie. I mean, let's be honest here, family. Let me remind you of something real quick, okay? This is something that they have, it's an argument about, okay? This is one of their arguments here. Listen to this real quick.
Have a right to have that legal opinion, but it is in disagreement with the legal opinion of this administration. This administration believes that birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. The folks that you mentioned have a right to have that legal opinion, but it is in disagreement with the legal opinion of this administration. This administration believes that birthright citizenship is unconstitutional.
Birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. I want you to think of that and consider that as a hold on, let me see. Sorry, I got caught up in a thought here. I'm trying to do something. Let me not forget. Let me go here. This one. Take this one over here. Okay, so we're talking about the supposedly the unconstitutional right of illegal so-called individuals, undocumented citizens here in this so-called country, that if they have a baby here, that it's not a given right to be a U.S. citizen. Okay? So think about the angle here for a moment. What that is saying, technically, right? If you are a father married to, let's say you're a U.S. citizen, and you happen to be married to somebody that's undocumented, they're saying that that child cannot be a U.S. citizen. Do you understand what that means? It's literally meaning that, family. They're saying that that child cannot be a U.S. citizen. If it's interpreted the way they want to interpret it, obviously the court is supposedly the courts are the ones that determine that. These guys are not even allowing that anymore. It's getting to that point. Now, find it so interesting that it's of the mother, correct? Of the mother. Okay. I did a class a long time ago, right? I did a class a while ago. I'm not going to play it. I want you guys to look at it. It's Partus Sequitur Ventrum. Okay. This one was, hold on. I'm not going to play it. I just want to show you guys a date. Back in November 2023. Now, if you look up, so I would suggest for you to watch that, Partus Sequitur Ventrum of 1962. Now, the reason why it's important for you guys to watch, or at least read up this topic, part two, sequitur. There you go, it's right there. What that law means is this: partus sequiturventum is a legal doctrine that was defined the legal status of children born to slave mothers. Invoked in colonial Virginia in 1662. Now, let me remind you, family, when you do go through that class, you'll find out who the actual partus sequiturventum apply to, our indigenous sisters. Okay, before anything, let's not be ignorant here to the fact that history has been taught to us incorrectly, and it's convenient for the white and the black men to teach us that so-called history that they're arguing about at the state level, because we know some of the history that's completely separate than that one. We understand that there were two types of conquistadors, several by chance, but specifically two, black and white ones. And they worked together to actually take these lands. So let's not forget that. Obviously, that's very clear. We understand history. That's not here or there today. But the point being is that partus sequiturventum was a doctrine mandated that the children of slave mothers would inherit the legal status of their mothers. This law bound enslaved women's fertility to the reproduction of slavery. The most specific one was this one. The doctrine mandated that children of slave mothers would inherit the legal status of their mothers. And what exactly is this Caucasoid saying?
You mentioned have a right to have that legal opinion, but it is in disagreement with the legal opinion of this administration. This administration believes that birthright citizenship is unconstitutional.
See, birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. That's what they're saying. So here in partus sequiturventum of 1662 was the same law that they actually implemented on our indigenous sisters. Now, the doctrine mandated that the children of slave mothers would inherit the legal status of their mothers. Now, check this out. Let's just remove slaves. The children of mothers would inherit the legal status of their mothers. You see that? So if you were an illegal mother, your son is illegal. Ain't no different than partus sequiturventum. In English law, I want you to let that sink in for a moment. Because in this channel, even though I do run into some idiots on Facebook, children, what I would say, in this channel, right, what I go through is facts. I don't go by feelings. If I knew for a fact that we weren't the Hebrews, I wouldn't be teaching that. But I'm sorry. There's too much facts. Too much facts. And you want to know why I think it's important? Because I think now more than ever, this type of topic is now at hand. Brothers and sisters, you know what? Let's keep it real, man. We brought out videos here. We brought out, material to prove who we are according to the Bible. I think a lot of you that follow this channel appreciate it for showing some love, because you know what? It doesn't cost you a thing to subscribe and listen in. You know what I'm saying? What I do is teach facts, not feelings. So now let this man explain something, because remember the book American Holocaust that applies to our indigenous bloodline. Well, here's another man, gentleman, I would call him that, for acknowledging the similarities. Finally, somebody's actually saying something like this. That's extremely important, because guess what, man? This stuff has not stopped since 1492. We have not left. We're still here. And I can even use white science to prove who I am. And I've been here a long time, and the fact that I'm from over there. So you can go any way you want with me. So in this channel, we teach facts. We don't go around debating bullshit. And I've challenged several people, but apparently they don't step up, and nor do they invite me. So it's all good. I'll continue to do my job. It's to show you guys what real history is about, so you can know thy wisdom. This is the stability. Knowing what's coming gives us stability of thy times, because this causes anxiety to a lot of our brothers. This causes anxiety. Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, first, they came for the Latinos outside of the Home Depots trying to get work so that they could feed their families. And I didn't say anything about it because I'm not a Latino at the Home Depot. Then they came for the Hispanic-looking folks wearing hats backward with tattoos, and they deported them to El Salvador. And I didn't say anything about that because I don't wear my hair backward, and I don't have any tattoos, and I don't look like a Latino. Then they came for the Latinas at home taking care of the children. They scooped up the Latinas and the children, some of whom were American citizens, one of whom was receiving treatment for cancer. They swept them up, took them off, and deported them. And I didn't say anything about it because I'm not a Latina. I'm not a little child who's an American citizen. Then they came back for the students studying on the college campuses who were here on student visas. They sent jackbooted thugs wearing masks to pick them up, take them thousands of miles away and put them in a private for-profit detention center where they languish at taxpayer expense. And I didn't say anything about it because I'm not a student on a foreign visa. And then they came and arrested a white female judge, a state court judge, presiding over her courtroom and the litigants therein, managing the affairs of her court. And they came and arrested her and perp walked her to jail. And I didn't say anything then because I'm not a judge, a white female judge, state court. But then they came for me. And I looked around and there was nobody left because I had remained silent and they had taken everybody off. Now, I just kind of paraphrased a poem written by a gentleman from Germany, which resonated back then as it does today.
That was the point. That was the actual point right there. That was the actual point right there. And it's not so much about following politics or anything like that, or giving, leeway to that shit. It's simply knowing what's to come. Some of us are a little bit ahead of other people. Some of us are a little bit behind. Revelations 1:3. Blessed is he that readeth, because by reading and applying, you can see exactly what's surrounding you. Some of us have families. Some of us have kids. So we got to protect them as well. Some of us don't. It's a different thing for everybody. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of his prophecy. Pre-prophecy, meaning future. What is to come. And keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. For the time is at hand. Now, some of us probably have wondered, what's the time at hand? What's the time at hand? Well, a lot of people right now, believe it or not, family, they don't give a shit about what's going on in this world. Right now, a lot of people don't care, man. They're going through their daily life, not giving a damn. Revelation 22:7, behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. He says it again. Hey, shalom, restaurant. Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't even say that to you. So, what's up? All be revealed. What's up? What's going on? It's Meshiacha. Good to have you here, guys. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. So why does he say that? Verse 10. And he said unto me, seal not the saying of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He says it again. So right now it's a time of learning, catching, making sure to be aware of it. Because why? We read this before. Again, if you guys know history, you're going to see that Revelation 20 is pretty much at its due. Revelation 20 and 2, it says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. They even say it themselves with their history. They say it themselves with their history. I'm going to show you of how important this is. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and sealed, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosened a little season. So if you guys actually understand and follow the beast, you can then apply and know. I mean, that's a deep topic. I shouldn't just throw that out there, man, because that's not for everybody. But this is talking about that right there. Now, why do you think? Matter of fact, I'll show you like this. When the people are cornered, when the predator is cornered, what does a predator do? When the predator is cornered and he has no chance to get away, he knows he's going to get eaten up, he does anything possible. Everything possible to succeed, to survive. So you're going to see a predator with intent. And now this guy makes fun of it. You know what I'm saying? He makes fun of it in a way. I get it. But you know what, man? It ain't funny no more, bro. Listen to this.
Nations. White nations. Now we start the deportation. Now we start the deportation. White nations. White nations. Closed borders. Closed borders. Now we start the deportation.
What in the wild, wild world of Santa Claus need a hip replacement is going on here today? If you don't get your ass out here waddling down the damn street like a penguin, there's a home health nurse right now knocking at the door waiting to take you to damn therapy. You know damn well your ass ain't cleared to be goddamn marching and you out here rabble-rousing for racism. You don't go goddamn get in that red suit and sit your damn ass down and ask them children what they want for Christmas? I know damn well your orthopedic surgeon ain't clear this. But racism is life. Racism is life. And who you got back there? Who's your buddy back there? Who wound up at the wrong march? Because he look like he dressed for a Civil War reenactment. Is that Robert E. Lee? I bet you them folks down the plant don't know you done took a PTO day to come down here and participate in this foolishness. I see you got your Confederate issued duster there. What do you have of that? Do you have your trusted musket? Come on, Johnny Reb.
Closed borders. White nation. Now we start the deportation. Interesting, isn't it? Let me show you guys something real quick. It's a video that I caught and I thought it was extremely important. Check it out. Check this. Oh man, you keep opening up and
countries of Britain,
bro. Stop it. Look at the reference. They say themselves who they are.
So in every respect, this is shocking, yes, because of the outsized consequences, but not surprising as it relates to the deeper issue at hand. It is, how do we unwind this, and how do we do it in a way that doesn't unmoor the very foundations of our democracy, the best of Roman Republic, Greek.
Oof! Did you see that? The best of Roman Republic and Greek. I didn't say it. He said it.
Best of Roman Republic, Greek democracy, system of Roman Republic, Greek democracy, system of checks and balances, all of that, also under assault and under attack at the same time. And
I'm not saying it. They're saying it. So now let's step back a little bit here in case you guys have forgotten. Let's talk about this real quick before we get further into it. Genesis 25:5. This is who Esau is, okay? Let's begin. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. Okay? This is the separation of the two brothers. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. You see this? And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about Esau and Jacob here. And this is where we see the distinction. Two nations that would be different. Verse 24 says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. We find that out real quickly. Now, let's look at something real quick and jump ahead just to kind of get you through the nations. Genesis 36, let's start in 15. Here we see the mixture here. These were dukes of the sons of Esau, sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau, the duke, Teman, duke Omar, duke Zepho, duke Kenaz. Now, we know who has been naming themselves dukes. Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, Duke Amalek. Give me a second. Okay. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adam. So we see here a little history of Esau. Now, let me remind you something. This is an individual of a nation that was going to have the spirit of Cain. Because it really, the scriptures talk about two different nations, two types of people. This is why I've been saying it for quite some time. There's two types of people that we're dealing with, wicked or not wicked. Seriously, man, there's no in between anymore. You're either wicked and you love it or you're not. In Genesis here, I'm going a little fast, family. I'm trying to get as much as I can to give you some info and some root here, some root, okay? Genesis 4, verse 3. In the process of time came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and unto his offering. Now, in case you guys don't know, in the Apocrypha, it actually talks about how Adam was given the laws, okay? Just for the sake of time, I don't want to go there. If somebody can post the actual scripture, Brother Job, in case you know, or Brother Shirala, or Rayak, if you guys know which one I'm talking about, it's in Ezra's maybe 3-4, maybe. I think it is. Yeah. Oh, I may even be showing it later on. I don't know. Anyways, let me get to it. And in the process of the time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. So he decided to do something different than the laws because Adam knew the laws. So Adam taught the laws to Cain and Abel. Because Abel here, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of that and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and unto his offering. You see, this spirit of people here, they don't care about what they have. They just care about what others have. You see what I'm saying? This is the envy of Cain. Cain had the same thing, but he didn't care for what he had. He just cared the fact that the other guy had it too. Envy. But unto Cain and to his offering, he had no respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Now check this out. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why are you mad? And why is thy countenance fallen? Like, why are you mad and sad, bro? What the hell? If thou doest well, thou should not be accepted. See, if you do what I'm telling you, what I've taught you to do, what your father taught you to do, don't you think you and I would be good? And if thou do it not well, sin lieth at the door. You see, there's a key right there. He told them, if you don't listen to me, well, guess what? Sin's right there. And its job is to eat you up. But your job is to rule over it. Now, find it interesting that instead of analyzing what he was just told, instead of just really applying what he was taught, you know what he did? He got mad, man, and he went and talked to Abel to kill him. Who does that sound like? This guy has the commandments. He doesn't care for them. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. You see that? What have we been seeing? Videos regarding people treating others with disrespect, with total fucking hate. Excuse my language, but that's the truth. This is the nation of people that we have to face. This is exactly why this title is important. Genesis 36:19 gives us a little bit of who they are again. Let's see this. And these are the sons of Esau, who is Edom. That's another point here. Let's not forget who Esau is. They also call him Edom or Idumea or Edomites. So let me kind of take you through this little route over here to get to the root again of the Caucasoid nation, or better known as Esau, because is whom God, our Most High, hates the most. Make sure that you understand that. That's not a lie. Let me show you this real quick. Okay, just a few pages. You guys are familiar with this book, I believe. Oh, it's not in here. Here it goes, yep. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this book. Let me go ahead and borrow it again. Check this out, fam. I know you guys are familiar with this book. Okay. Check this out. We're going to touch on page 13 through maybe 16. I'll see if I'll just skim through it so we don't delay too much on this. Let's see how much time I got. Okay, I got an hour. Okay, good. We're doing good time. There you go. Oh, thank you, brother. Okay, yep, 2 Ezra 3. I was right. Appreciate it. 2 Ezra chapter 3, verse. Matter of fact, let me get it here so you can see it real quick. Let's get this. 2 Ezra chapter 3, verse 4. It says, O Lord, thou bearest the rule. Thou spake it at the beginning when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commanded the people, and gavest the body unto Adam without a soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee. Thank you, honey. And thou leadest him into this paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came before it. And unto him thou gavest the commandments to love thy way. Isaiah chapter. See that? Gave him the commandments. So Cain effing knew better, but he chose not to care. He knew better and he chose not to care. And unto him thou gavest commandments to love thy way, which he transgressed. You see that? But Christians will not teach you this. Now let's continue. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. This is a book from the 13th tribe. You guys are familiar with it. The Khazar Empire and its heritage. Okay. So it says here, I'm going to read a few things and then I'm going to show you a link. We're going to go through the pages and then we'll move on. Page 13, chapter 1, about the time when Charlemagne was crowned emperor of the West of Europe, the eastern confines of Europe between the Caucasus. Remember that. Who calls themselves Caucasians? They do. You know, like when you look at the government, the branches, what are they? One of the departments, one of the branches, I think they use the Caucasus, I think. We'll look it up right now. Okay, the Caucasus and the Volga were ruled by a Jewish state. What a coincidence. Now you understand what the connection is, who rules who, and who, why, and what. Not even about rulership. This is who they are. Edomites, Canaanites. It's unfortunate, but this is what we're dealing with. Known as the Khazar Empire. At the peak of its power, from the 7th to the 10th century AD, played a significant part in the shaping of the destinies of medieval and consequently of modern Europe. Pay attention to this family. The Byzantine emperor and historian Constantine, okay, between 1913 and 1959, must have been well aware of this when he recorded in his treatise on the court protocol that letters addressed to the Pope in Rome and similarly those in the Emperor of the West. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's right, sis. That's right. Que alguien me explique, güey. The Byzantine Empire, though, right? So listen, Byzantine Emperor, Constantine, in 913 AD, then he mentions Rome, and similarly those of Emperor of the West had a gold seal worth 2 salatis attached to them, whereas messages to the king of the Khazars displayed a seal worth of 3 salatis. This was not flattery, but realpolitik. So it says, had a gold seal worth 2 salati attached to them, whereas messages to the king of the Khazars displayed a seal of 3 worth 3 salatis. This was not flattery, but realpolitik in the period which were concerned. You see, these people were in communication. Okay. Now you're going to see, if you read this book throughout the, process of the book, it's not really telling you that the Byzantine is anything other than that too, right? So here we see Byzantine again, the Byzantine diplomacy and of European history. So let's read up a little bit here. It acted as a buffer, protecting Byzantine war against invasions. Protecting Byzantine against invasions by the lusty, barbarous tribesmen of the northern steppes, Bulgars, Magyars, Pechenegs, I guess, and later the Vikings and the Russians. But equally, or even more important, both from the point of view of Byzantine diplomacy and of European history, is the fact that the Khazar armies effectively blocked the Arab avalanche. So you see the relationship between these people. They're not Arabs, family. The Khazar country lay across the natural line of the advance of the Arabs. Well, we see this right here, right? So they basically were blocking this barrier. Yeah, there it goes right there. Reach the great mountain barrier of the Caucasus, who calls themselves Caucasus. Or like, let's put it this way. Let's look it up. The Caucasus. See? I don't think that's what it is. Let's see. The word Caucasus came from the British colony. There you go. See, there it goes right there. See the word Caucasus. That's what I was looking for. My bad. Caucasus. A meeting in which local members of the political party register. A conference. A group within an organization. Caucasus. You telling me they're not giving themselves up? Come on, family. Are we stupid? Caucasus. Are we stupid here? For real? You're going to tell me it's not the same thing? So now, I'm going to bring you to this attention. We keep hearing, if you look at history, the Byzantine Empire, right? Byzantine Empire. Here is where it gets really interesting. Don't forget who these guys are. Region north of Caucasus, Byzantine, the bulwark of European civilization in the east. Keep this in mind. Here's where it gets interesting. It is perhaps not surprising, given these circumstances, that in 732 AD, after a resounding Khazar victory over the Arabs, the future Emperor Constantine of Byzantine, Emperor Constantine V married a Khazar princess. In due time, their sons became Emperor Leo IV, known as Leo the Khazar. Byzantine. So here we see Caucasus, Byzantine, Khazars, Russia. Okay, we get it. Okay, let me not take you any further, because I think this is the point. A lot of us are under the impression, when we read history, that the Byzantine Empire was something totally different than nothing but the Byzantine Empire. But no, family. The Byzantine Empire, okay? Let me bring you to attention to this. This is going to surprise you. It may surprise some of you. The Byzantine Empire, also known as the Eastern Roman Empire, was the continuation of the Roman Empire, centered on Constantinople during late antiquity in the Middle Ages. You see what I'm saying, family? And look at this right here. That's when the Ottoman Empire took over. Supposedly, right? Supposedly. But now, here's where it gets interesting. Where's the year at? I'm looking for the year. Let's see if I have it here. If I have it here, I'll show it to y'all. If not, it's one that's showing us this right here. This is the kings, right? When it started. And this is the interesting part. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I think 11, not 12. Anyways, let me continue because I don't want to get distracted on that topic. Let's see if I can get you to... It'll probably be on other links. But look at this right here. Let's not forget the point. Byzantine Empire, also known as the Roman Eastern Empire, was the continuation of the Roman Empire. Having survived the events would cause the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. You see this? It endured until the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Empire in 1453. Practically 1,000 years. The dark so-called ages the dark so-called ages. Now, I have this book here. And the reason why I'm trying to go fast is because I want to make sure that I don't stick too much to one topic because there's a lot of info. And I want to show you guys as much as I can. So check this out. This is from a book called ESAU, Edom. Okay? ESAU, Edom here. Check this out. Esau, who is ESAU, Edom? By Charles Wiseman. You guys can look it up. I only have about 40 pages, I think. 70 pages. Here we see what this individual, who is Edom, Esau, firstborn of Isaac, yada, yada, yada. Right? Here he goes into it again. Okay? This is interesting. This is where I want you guys to understand why the scriptures are very key. Herod even rebuilt the temple as it was in the ruins from repeated sieges, part of which Herod was responsible for by the attack upon the city, the temple of God. Now, by the way, Herod, in case you guys don't know, let me show you a link real quick. Let me show you something real quick. Man, shut up, bro. Get out of here. I smacked your ass last time you were here. I put you to sleep for like 2-3 months. You told your crew to disappear because you were going to take a vacation. All of a sudden, you just ignored me. I don't even know why you're here. Why don't you go argue those white nationalists? Why don't you go argue with the white nationalist Christians? Mr. Israelite only camp killer. This is not an Israelite camp. I don't believe in the Trotar chart. We teach facts here. I got historical facts. You got a bunch of BS. Why don't you go argue with white nationalists? Since you're so much about the scriptures, are they actually really, really applying the scriptures? You guys are hypocritical, man. You guys are hypocritical. The temple of God became, in the sense, Herod's temple. Now, Herod, by the way, let me remind you, because you almost distracted me. Let's look at Herod, because we're showing facts. This ain't no feelings. I'm bringing material that they got, fam. I don't have to go out of my way to do this at all, man. They're the ones that expose themselves. Let me show you something real good that I have. Give me a second here real quick. Here we have a picture. Just kind of wrote it down for y'all. Herod, okay? You guys can look this up. This is historical. This ain't not a lie. This is not a lie. The dynasty of Herods were Edomites. He was Idumean. Came from Edom. The Edomites came from Esau, the rival brother of Jacob. During the reign of the Hasmoneans, which is when John Hyrcanus was basically in charge, the last so-called true Israelite leader, forced the Edomites to become Jews under the pain of death. Now, this was a war that was going on at that time. He said, you know what? We'll call you guys converts, technically, for the sake of peace. Scripturally speaking, let's continue. Then he says the Romans had established the Edomites on the throne, regarding them as a king, kind of Jews. Herod attempted to win the favor of the Jews by rebuilding the temple. If I'm not mistaken, Herod's mother was a so-called Jew. The father wasn't. The father came from the Greeks. And we know historically from the Vulgars, the Franks, and all of them, they had migrated, which became Greece as well, and Rome, and all of that. We understand this. See, we do historical facts here in this class. We don't go by only emotional feelings that the Bible says. John 3:16, God loves everybody. No, that's not the case. And once again, you're here. I already told you last time. I even went to you. Matter of fact, you ran. You disappeared for 2 months. You told your followers, "Oh, I'm gonna really reset myself." Yeah, come on, bro. Stop lying, man. Just stop it. Like I said, if you're really about the scriptures, go argue with the white nationalists. Let's see if you really have the same energy, man. Because you guys, what are you going to do? Argue about what? Argue about Christmas? Why don't you put a scripture up that tells us that Christmas is in the Bible? Why don't you do that? Put a scripture up that says Christmas is in the Bible. And then I'll believe you. Herod attempted to win the favor of the Jews by rebuilding the temple. Right? We see this here. So check this out. Now, here we have some documentation, since we have them here. Okay, this is from a book that I have. I think it's called The Modern Judaism Traditions Concerning Edomites. Okay, so check this out. This is on page 231. Check this out real quick, fam. Esau's descendants are the subjects of extensive tradition, in which rabbis with a effrontery, and at which we would wonder in any other men, have set at defiance all authentic history and accurate chronology. These representations, the fallacy of which will be too obvious to require being pointed out, may be briefly comprised under the following heads. Check this out. First, the descendants of Esau, the sworn enemies of the descendants of Jacob, even to the end of the world, were at first a small nation, inhabiting Mount Seir and the adjacent country, contiguous to the land of Canaan, that they were easily confined within their own limits, as long as the Israelites enjoyed a great and formidable empire in Canaan. But that after the powerful republic of the 12 tribes was destroyed by the Assyrian and Babylonians, they wonderfully increased in numbers and strength, extended the dominion towards the west, spread their colonies far and wide, subjugated Italy, founded Rome and the Roman Empire, at length entirely overturned the Jewish state which had begun. We see that Herod, even in the scriptures, worked with the Romans, restored after the termination of the Babylonian captivity, the second temple being destroyed by Titus Vespasian, and that in the present day, professing the religion of Jesus of Nazareth, which they were the first of all nations to embrace, they hold a dominion over all Europe. Esau, detaining in captivity his brother Jacob, at least as far as regards the tribe of Judah, till his Messiah ben David shall appear. Secondly, the prophecy of the prophet against Esau, Edom, Seir, and the city of Edom. Seir, Mount Seir, right? In the city of Edom, page 232. Okay, check this out. Especially those of Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Obadiah have not yet received their full accomplishments. For that though the house of Esau, the Romans, Europeans, not all of them, by the way, which I don't disagree with this guy, but you know what? I already smacked him around last time he was here. I told him, let's do it again. He said he was going to retire for 2 months. Then he comes back. I posted stuff on his channel. He ignored me, didn't say shit, never showed up. Now all of a sudden he's got a couple drinks and is under his belt. Maybe that's why he feels all brave. I'm not going to waste my time with him. Put a scripture that shows that you can celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, all of those things, birthdays. Show us a scripture that you guys Christians, you do this. You guys celebrate Christmas. Come on, give us a scripture that says you can. And I'll do it. I'll stop doing the channel. Not John 3:16. Give us a scripture that says we can celebrate Christmas. And that tells us that that's when the Messiah was born. For that though the house of Esau has experienced some particular judgment of God on an account of injuries at different periods of time inflicted upon Israel, yet the final vengeance on the account of that lasting greatest injury, the destruction of the second temple by the Titus and of the transportation of the Jews in captivity, in which they are still most opprobriously detained, is yet impending over it, to be executed in the time of the Messiah. That this is foretold by the prophets in all their denunciations of the severest plagues against the house of Esau, the city of Edom, and Mount Seir, which all belong to Rome and the Christians. They are Christians. And that the fate of the Christians at the time will be far more dreadful than that of the Mohammedans. The slaughter of the Turks in the future battle will not be so great as that of the Christians. Many of the Turks will escape according to Isaiah. But of the Christians, Obadiah says, there shall be not any remaining of the house of Esau. None. If you consider this other book I got, okay? Again, family, I'm not saying it, they're saying it. Here, let me get the link here real quick. As a matter of fact, let me get the link here real quick. Hold on. Let me show you something real quick here. File. I showed you guys this book before. It's called, here, let me put it here. It's called Jews and Muslims in British Colonial America. Okay? Now, I've showed you guys this book before. No big deal. right? I find this interesting, and I thought I would share it with you. I'm just gonna do it real quick. But again, we're just showing who's Esau. So here we see Edom a few times. Actually, there's like a few pages. I don't think it's in this book. Maybe I might confuse it with the other book. Give me a second. Let me see. Yeah, it's not this one. This is the word I was looking for, really. So in this book, which I've showed this to you guys many, many times, okay? If you're not new to this channel, check this out. There's two important pieces, several, to the puzzle. Okay? So we see the word Esau 4 times. Right? Sorry, 2 times. Okay? So on page 6 of, again, which I've showed you guys these highlights, many, many, many times. The Jews and Muslims in British colonial America. Okay? So let's get to it. So here in page 6 of this paragraph, right, we see some history. Without having to waste too much time, I'm going to skip this part here. You guys can download the picture. Or you can download the book. You guys have it. It's easy to find. Let's read it through this point here. Okay? Who are these people? Now, I've told you guys before that Psalms 83 is for real. It's for real, 100 for real. So let's get to it. It says here, few people realize that one of the Salem's witches mounted a legal defense using the family professional connections of wealth. Sarah's town, Chloe, fought her accusers and lived to become founders of the town of Framingham, Massachusetts. The mother of Patrick Henry, according to diarist William Byrd, was a handsome woman of the family of Esau. Of the house of Esau. Hey, I tell you what, IOCK. Today, it's this. If you really about it, you want to debate, you can come back another time. I'll try to see if the next week or so I'll open it up for that. Today, I'm not doing it. Nor am I answering anybody's question, especially yours. So you're gonna have to be, so you can respectfully accept that. The mother of Patrick Henry, according to diarist William Byrd, was as a handsome woman of the family of Esau. Now, check this out, fam. I showed you guys this before. Whose first husband in Aberdeen, Scotland, was of the family of the Saracens. Now, do you guys remember that now? Which, remember, if you remember, King James was of that bloodline. Remember Esau? Okay, like here's one. Now let's go to the second one. Here he kind of gets into details of who Esau is. So Saracen mother, Muslim. That's the father, so to speak, right? It says here, our final nominee in Patrick Henry, staunch patriot, one of the primary architects of the American Revolution. It is William Byrd diary, which proves us with some initial clues about his ancestry. Patrick's mother was born Sarah Winston. She first married Colonel, John Simon, Hebrew Simon, who died shortly after his marriage. On October 7, 1732, Colonial Byrd dropped to see her and wrote a letter in his diary. She was a portly, handsome dame of the family of Esau. Now come on, let's be honest here, fam. Am I putting those words in their mouth? No. They're saying it themselves. Of the family of who? Of the family of who? Of the family of Esau. Am I saying that? No. They're saying that. Especially you. You come here and say, if Esau's a white man, how is Roman there? You see what I'm saying? We just showed it. If Esau's a white man, how is Roman and Edom have 3 own kingdoms during times of Jesus? Edom having a kingdom under the time of Jesus? What do you mean? I just showed you that the Edomites were technically under Herod, Idumea. You don't know your history. That's a problem. And by the way, look at this right here. So who is this? Family of Esau. These people know the Bible. Why would they call themselves the family of Esau? There's no coincidence. Only people that believe in John 3:16 are that blind. You still have, and then this is ironic. Listen. Here, do me a favor, bro. If you can temporarily block this guy, because I did ask him to put a scripture that would actually identify the fact that you could celebrate Christmas, and the dummy didn't get it. He didn't even listen. He didn't even listen. He continues to chop it up with stupid shit. So unless you stop, you're gonna get temporarily paused, bro. Because I told you, if you want to come back later, we can. I even said, why don't you post a scripture that shows that we can celebrate Christmas, and you don't post shit. You just continue to tap, your little fat fingers. You know what I'm saying? Little fat fingers. Because I know you like eating a lot of sugar. I can tell by the way you sounded last time you were here. It's like, yo, come on, bro. You guys ignore history, and it's right in your face. The Khazars were a nomadic people who had traces of Hebraic culture, so to speak, right? So anyways, we're looking at this book. We've seen this stuff, right? I've showed you guys before. Let's go back to this real quick. Matter of fact, I forgot. I shouldn't have done that. Give me a second. Let me go back to this, because I do want to show you something. See, this is why I don't like people distracting me, especially in these moments. This is like technical stuff, man. Okay, so we're here. They're calling themselves Edom, right? I'm not the one calling themselves Esau. Now, the Bible talks about dukes. Look at this. Who are the dukes? The first dukes were the people in the Bible were Edomites, by the Dukes of Lennox and Hamilton. Now, am I saying all white folks are Edomites? No. Partly correct. Part of them were Japheth. We're talking about spirit here. This guy does not understand spirit. He's John 3:16 all day, every day. Then he shows up in Christmas, brings gifts. Then, you know what I mean? Then celebrates Thanksgiving. Like, none of that's in the Bible. And he doesn't even keep none of the commandments in the Bible. Or he's going to tell us, but Jesus got rid of them, then I can eat pork. There you go. Law's done away with. Go argue with the white nationalists, man. These are the Dukes, family. Duke. D was deeply involved in the Duke of Northumberland. William Cecil, the Duke of Northumberland. Grand Duke of Tuscany. Third voyage of Christopher Colon in the search of the transatlantic passage to China. See this? Who became Dukes of Norfolk? If you guys can look through this book, it's a heavy-duty book. So now, we know they call themselves Esau, right? No Anglo-Saxon pedigree are believed to have survived anymore. The Indian tribal hierarchies. You guys can read this book. It's your heavy-duty stuff, right? So you look through this, and you see this right here. You see the word Dukes, Dukes of Lennox, Duke Jacobus. See? Duke Jacobus. Duke of Alba. Remember, keep in mind, family, these are fake Israelites. But doesn't the scripture say that Esau gave its birthright away? And he wants it back? Which is why the Most High hates this guy. Duke again. The British, the Jews. Let me show you the book again. This is on Duke number 9. Let's go back to the book. Jews and Muslims of British colonial America. Look at this right here. Look at this right here, man. Like, look at this. What is this? You know what I'm saying? What is this? What are we talking about here, man? You know what I'm saying? Only an idiot would ignore this stuff. Look, I'll show you. On page 178. See? It says here, who was the Swedish envoy to Britain? Count de Monroe, who was the envoy from the Duke of Savoy, and additionally the diplomatic agent of Venice, Italy, the Duke of Saxony, Germany. The hell are you talking about, bro? I'm not saying it. They're calling themselves Dukes. Edomites. Dukums. Duke Edom. Edom right there. If you take away the D-U-C-K, it's like Edom right there. Dukem. 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 We're not stupid in this channel, man. We're not going to do that to ourselves. This is not about feelings. It's about facts. Whether you believe it or not, IOCK, they call you a Canaanite. They don't call you one of them. You think they do. You wait and see. They'll deport your ass too. I think you speak Spanish, if I'm not mistaken, or you know some of it. Trying to fit in with Babylon, bro. It's impossible to ignore the obvious. We see here which nations ruled after 1492, right? Spain, Portugal, major Europeans. Spain is 1, Portugal 2, England 3, France is 4, the Netherlands 5, Russia is 6. Then you got Denmark, Sweden, and Germany. And we see here the same people. New England. The Pennsylvania Freemasons were chartered under the Duke of Norfolk. Come on, are we really going to play games here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember the 8 wings, 6 feathers, 3 heads. That's the prophecy of the beast. Keep in mind, and I've said this to you guys before, 1,000 years they would be in demise, right? 5th century, 1500. Byzantine Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, was the continuation of the Roman Empire. So what are we doing here? Wow, okay, well, good for you, bro. You should be safe. You're among your brethren. Stay safe over there. That's what you should be focusing on. Instead of supposedly battling Israelites, I mean, by this time, you shouldn't be worried about them, man. Those camps are destroyed. You got Sakari that's over there, found out that they love getting pegged by both of their leaders who departed from Sakari. Who knows about these other ones? Got a bunch of pedophiles in them. Supposedly multi-dimensional womenizers and shit, and can't even take care of one. It's just, to me, those camps are done with, man. You know what I'm saying? So glad for you, bro. If anything, be teaching the people over there not to follow Christians. Keep the commandments. That should be what you do be doing. So once again, family, Byzantine Empire, continuation of Roman Empire. We also see from the other books that we saw the Constantinople, the Khazars, they're all mixed in together, right? We saw that. We understand this now. Now that we take you through a little bit of history, now we understand what's going on, because a lot of us sometimes misunderstand. No, the Byzantine period is not the same as the Dark Ages. The term Dark Ages refers to a specific period of European history, roughly spanning from the 5th and 10th century, and is characterized by the societal and cultural challenges following the fall of the Western Roman Empire. But you want to know what's so weird? Didn't we just read? You see, they're saying here that the Byzantine Empire is not part of it, of the Dark Ages, but they're saying that the Dark Ages applies to the fall of the Western Empire, right? But yet, in this other link, we see that the Byzantine Empire is technically an extension of the Eastern Roman Empire. See what I'm saying? Now, if we follow the line, Constantine V, Constantino, Latin, was Byzantine Emperor. Roman extension of continuation of the Roman Empire, which was in its debauchery at that time of the Dark Ages. They say it doesn't apply because the Byzantine does not apply to the Dark Ages, because the Dark Ages applied to the Roman fall, but they don't understand that the Byzantine Empire was continuation of the Roman fall, which continued for 1,000 years. You get what I'm saying? In Dark Age times. Because if you see and you understand the Arab letters from Ibn Fahlan and all those things, right? The communication when he was traveling up north, he was seeing the demise of these people, bro. In the book, The 13th Warrior, right? I'm sorry, that's the movie. But in this book, it goes deep into it. How these people lived. This was the time of the Dark Ages for them. So now, his reign, Byzantine, you see this right here? Like we see now, these are not, distant brothers or cousins. These are Germans. Germanus ones of Constantinople. These are Germans. These are Europeans. Right? Constantine, Leo the Khazar. Right? Are we forgetting?
Oh, this is what you want.
Listen to this.
This is what he wants. Fine. I'd rather give it to you than have it taken by the French.
You mistake me, sire. I have no right and no ambition to wear the crown. But let the rightful wearer beware. From now we will be subject only to laws that we have a hand in making. We are not sheep to be made mutton of by your butchers.
I'm here to speak for Sir Walter Loxley. If your majesty were to offer justice, justice in the form of a Charter of Liberties, allowing every man to forage for his hearth, to be safe from conviction without cause, or prison without charge, to work, eat, and live on the sweat of his own brow, and that king would be great.
So what would you have? Castle for every man?
Every Englishman's home is his castle, his liberty. Liberty by law.
Keep in mind that in these times, these people were fighting with each other consistently. Now, why is it important to understand your history? Because remember, the first scripture that we read talks about wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy time. Knowing the history, the past, present, and future consistently repeats itself. That's why Ecclesiastes 1 through 9 is actually talking about the cycle of life. But me specifically, I want to point this out to you. Ecclesiastes 1:15 talks about this, which is very important. The cycle of life, the spirit of these people never changes. This is not your first rodeo. This is not Edomite's first rodeo either. Ecclesiastes 1:5 clears this up. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting. Give me a second, I'm almost done. Cannot be numbered. You see that? That which is crooked cannot be made straight. Why am I sharing that? We've seen some really wicked videos deporting people that are in the most vulnerable stages, regardless of whether their status is. You're deporting a woman that just had a baby, man. You're deporting a woman that just had a baby. And you got
we didn't vote for Trump and be like,
you got no remorse. Look, this is why you did it. Because you have hate. And you're a crooked stick. And you'll never be straight.
like, oh, Trump's not going to break any laws. Like, everybody that voted, we knew that he wasn't going to follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
We didn't care.
Yeah, I have a
So
feeling they're
that's
gonna
the
leave.
point. We want to change so bad that we didn't give a crap what the cost was.
That Trump supporter just said the quiet part out loud, and studies actually back up her claim. A survey of more than 5,000 Americans found that 67% of Republicans scored high on the right-wing authoritarianism scale, which is a psychological measure of authoritarian attitudes developed after World War II. The survey evaluates support for aggressive leaders who demand strict obedience, enforce traditional values, and silence dissent. The problem? It's fundamentally anti-American. The whole point of America was to decentralize power so it never concentrated in one person, all to preserve the freedom of the people. The experiment of democracy that our founders envisioned was explicitly to defend from people like Trump who want power concentrated in themselves. There were even debates during the founding about whether to create a presidency at all, but MAGA seems to think the whole point of America was for it to be white, Christian, and uphold traditional values.
See what I'm saying, family? That's exactly what it means. Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. I got you, bro. Yeah, that's what they are. Oh, fake ass Jews. This is heavy duty, man. The spirit does not change. It's very wicked. Let's continue.
It's clear that they're not interested in defending the Constitution. They're more interested in power. They've cheered Trump on as he's encroached further and further on the founding document. He's tried to block birthright citizenship, guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. He's denied people the right to a trial, guaranteed by the 5th Amendment. Then he defied a Supreme Court order, undermining the separation of powers in Article 3. He's also unilaterally imposed tariffs, violating Article 1, which gives only Congress the right to taxation. He's retaliated against colleges for allowing free speech, guaranteed under the First Amendment.
These guys fight constantly. They want the king, and then they don't want the king, and then they want the king, and then they don't want the king. And I guess that they don't want the king when they get rid of, when the king starts being hardcore on them, but then they want the king when they're dealing with so-called illegal aliens. It's pretty wicked, man, that it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Job 27:13 says this, that this is the portion of a wicked man with God and the heritage of oppressors. Who's oppressing, family? It ain't us. It ain't us, man. You know what I'm saying? Who is the oppressor? That's his heritage, which they shall receive of the Almighty. Keep this in mind. This is a portion of the wicked man with God and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword. You see that, fam? If thou see the oppression of the poor, do not marvel at the matter. Why? Because their tree is crooked, cannot ever be straight. And they're here for the sword, to oppress other nations. And his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. You see this? They take. That video we saw a long time ago about that, the caricature cartoon. He's walking through the earth, and he's just, gobbling up all of that food. Let me see the cartoon walking on earth, killing everything. And hold on, let me see if I can get it. Let me see, maybe I can do it here on YouTube, because usually YouTube algorithm will pick it up probably even quicker. This is interesting because this is their children. This is a continuation. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going. There it goes right here. Check this out.
Is the client?
Check this out, family. Hold on.
It's project.
Let me see if I can just do it real quick. I'll show you a little bit. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll speed it up so we can check it. This video right here. It's a trip. Scriptures don't lie about the spirit of these people. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword. Now, keep in mind that his children is not multiplied anymore. Why? Because the end is here. They are not having any more babies. Here, if his children be multiplied, it's for the sword. The time is coming, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. This is how you'll know who these people are. Check it. Let's speed it up. Good. You tell me who that is. What are they doing to countries when, let's say, for example, Brazil? They gave their leadership tons of money, gave them loans, massive loans, then requested the loans to be paid back. But you see, the loans cannot be affordable anymore. So what ends up happening? Unfortunately, now they owe the money. Unfortunately, now they got to pay it back. And now they got to pay it back. Guess what? They can't afford it. So the only way that they're able to pay for these loans is by giving up the resources. Let's continue. The Amazon, practically all the paper comes from trees. Several videos that actually illustrate this real progressive, so-called progress. Progress to destruction. That's what I call it. Just abuse of power, man. There's no balance in these particular nations. Now, pay attention to this because hopefully I will show you a video, maybe before we go, regarding a particular prophecy that we see in The Simpsons actually play it, and it's about the Meshiacha, so-called gods, come and destroy this whole world. It's funny, man, but it's interesting. Let's continue. That's very funny, huh? Yeah, bro. I did a class on that the other day. That's why the reason for the name of the channel, Meshiacha Chronicles, or Meshiach. I put Meshiacha just to kind of change it a little bit, but it's basically that right there. Now, the family, you guys know that there's only supposedly two scriptures. Let's see, two scriptures basically, right? Instead of me looking for it like that, I already know them, but let me just do this here. There's two scriptures that say this right here. Let's see if it's right here. Give me a moment. Can't believe it, man. What's going on with me? Yep, I'm tripping. Okay, there's two scriptures in the Old and New Testament and in the Apocrypha based on King James that says, Romans 9:13, for example, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. That's the New Testament, by the way. Okay, it says it in the New Testament. It also says it in Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and Esau, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So he hates Esau, right? Now, two times it says it. Now, in King James, you don't really find it in much places. So let me introduce you to this book here that I have here, because, that's what I do, bro. I bring you guys material, so then we can study it together. I highly suggest to read this. Now, this book is called The Apocalypse of Ezra. This is based on the original text, which was only found, they only had found chapter 3 to chapter 14, okay? Later on in 20-something AD, supposedly 1 and 2 was added or found, 15 and 16 as well. The reason I'm bringing you to this book is because of the translation on it. Confirm if you want, go ahead and read the whole thing. But I'm using it for the purpose of translation of the words that were used at that time. This book is from translations of the early documents, okay? We're talking about year, I believe, 1917. The translation of the early documents, Palestine Jewish texts, pre-rabbinic, okay? The Apocalypse of Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 through 14, okay? Translated from the Syriac text with brief annotations. For the sake of time, I'm not going to read what I just shared with you, but if you guys download this book, you'll see what it says, okay? It's giving you a little history of what it means by chapter 3 through 14. But because I want to show this to y'all, in 2nd Ezra, on the King James, in chapter 3, right, kind of where we were at earlier. That's right. Remember I said I was going to bring this up, and the brother found it, right? Okay. So here in this chapter, we know that he gave Adam the laws, gave him commandments, right? In the process of time, the flood came. If you read this actual chapter, that's what he's talking about. And how the nations later became so wicked, then he ended up killing them. Now, find this interesting. Now, remember, I said that in the King James Bible, and in most translations that we find today, if not all of them, you read, which include Apocrypha, you only read it like this, that he had an everlasting covenant with him, all that stuff, right? Verse 16, and unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. For as Jacob thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau. You see that? And as for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau. And so Jacob became so great a multitude. That's what we read it. That's all it says. But check this out. That's not what it actually says. This is why I find this to be such a beautiful thing, that we get an opportunity to be awoken at the most important times. Let me see if I can find the actual page I'm looking for. 3 seconds. The introduction. Let me see real quick. Okay, let me go back a little bit. Go to chapter 3, so you can see where we go. This is 4. This is 4:2:22. Okay, we're gonna start. Still 4. Hold on a second. Chapter 3. Okay, so follow me here. Family. Check this out. This is the most interesting. This is what I love about our history, man. It's in our spirit to find these things. The Most High is why He gives us wisdom and knowledge for us to deal with the current events. He hates this individual nation, and here's why. Verse 15 says on the same 2nd Ezra chapter 3:15, but in this translation, and thou didst establish with him an everlasting covenant, and didst promise him that thou wouldst never forsake his seed, and thou gavest him Isaac, and to Isaac thou gavest Jacob and Esau, and thou didst choose Jacob for an heritage, and Esau thou didst hate. Why is it important to read translations? Because you really get to see the depthness of this hate. The depthness of this hate. Whoa, yo, bro, that's fire, bro, right there. Boom. Damn. Never thought of that, brother. Mesh backwards is Shem, also written as Shem. Yes, sir, man. Shh. Hey, I got this book called I did the class the other day because I was talking about Meshiachas, and the book is called, hold on. The book is called The Nexus Spoken Language. Okay? The class that I did, it was about maybe the last two before this one. And it's literally hitting the topic. And it actually says in this book called The Nexus Spoken Language, the link between the Maya and Semitic during pre-Columbian times, we find that the word Jacob in the Semitic language, which was basically applying to the tribes here, the way that they pronounce Jacob is Yaakov. Yaakov. If you go into the concordance and look up the word Jacob, and you look up the actual root word of Jacob, it says the same exact thing. Yaakov. Yaakov. So in this channel, I've proven that we're those people based on food, clothing, obviously the history, the tools that we use to cook the food, the instruments that are used in the Bible, the folklore. Man, I've gone deep on these things. The language, the name, the depthness of our history is in these books. So here we see that the Most High really does hate this person. And when you consider the facts and know that they themselves have admitted it themselves. Now, I typically don't subscribe so much to this book, okay? Honestly, because there are some things that are not matching well, and I have not read it completely, to be honest, so I'm not going to 100% tell you, yeah, this is the fact. But I do find it interesting. I do find it very interesting that I find this verse here because it applies to them. Look, the book of Joshua, chapter 25, verse 20. And again, confirm it, family. You know what I'm saying? Confirm it, please. But I find it so interesting that he says this. Let's start at 18. At the time Isaac sent his younger son Jacob to the house of Shem and Eber, which is where you get the word Hebrew. And he learned the instructions of the Lord. And Jacob remained in the house of Shem and Eber for 32 years. And Esau, his brother, did not go, for he was not willing to go. And he remained in his father's house in the land of Canaan. And Esau was continually hunting in the fields to bring home what he could get. So did Esau all day. Check this out. And Esau was a designing and deceitful man. Designing and deceitful man. One who hunted after the hearts of men and unveiled them. What does that mean? What's that word mean? Trick them, persuade them to do something through clever talk, trickery, or flattery. Now, to me, I'm like, what the? We're dealing with a nation that is literally like that. Double talk. We see it in political realm the whole entire time. And Esau was a valiant man in the field, and in the course of time went as usual to hunt. And he came as far as the fields of Seir. The same is Edom. Designing, deceitful, one that looks for the mind of men to trick them and persuade them. Remember the book that I showed you guys called Propaganda? It talks about that. It talks about that literally. That's why this book is no joke, man. If you start identifying nations, for example, once I started identifying who brought smallpox, people didn't like it. Revelation 12:12 says this: Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. You see, the time is being sped up. Somehow, there's a presence in the spirit of these people that they know that the time is at hand. Now, the scriptures talk about 666. They say that this is for neo-Nazi shit. KKK. Okay? KKK. Time is at hand, family. Watch this video real quick. I like the fact that this guy pointed it out.
Donald Trump is sending out dog whistle messages again, and this time everyone is missing it. Or on the other hand, maybe we've all become desensitized to this kind of sleaze. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. Racism at Donald Trump events is, of course, nothing new. Need a reminder?
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Kamala's gross incompetence disqualifies her from being president. Everyone knows she is a very low IQ individual.
It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ.
She's a fake, a fraud. She's a pretender. Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
Kamala has imported criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions from all around the world.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist. President Trump, in what he has experienced, knows that
Rome, Edom. Have fun, because it's over.
Jesus Christ is king.
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here. I don't see no stinking domestic terrorists in here.
Out of character for me to speak at a Nazi rally. I was just in Israel, but I took the gig. She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates.
Militia groups, and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do
specifically
that,
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and white supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
I'm sorry. That one.
So he's talking about these guys. These guys here. These guys, right? The guys that did the whole January 6th shit. They know exactly what this means. KKK. That's what it means. So now he's going to bring this up here. So look, watch. I'm going to show you something. This is the video. Oh. So here he uses this. They're at the 100-day rally. And they have a big projector. And this is what elevates their spirit. That's basically, they know it says. This is what elevates their spirit. Hatred. That's what elevates their spirit. Listen.
Are being sent to a no-nonsense prison in El Salvador. Why don't you watch this? Watch this. Take a look.
Did you catch that? Have a look again. Pay close attention to the lower left-hand corner of the screen.
That right there. That right there, look. Okay, you see that? See that finger? Told you. That's what he pointed out. I was glad that he pointed that out. Look at that. That's just what it stands for. The hatred. It's pretty simple. It's not about rule of law. And you know, it's heartening and hurtful. It's hardening. It's painful to see our own people do this shit to ourselves. And you know, you got to admit too that not everybody here is obviously the same. So we understand that. But at the same time, who's enjoying watching this shit? This is the type of people that enjoy watching this shit. What kind of people are you? So I tell that OICK guy, why don't you go try to debate some of these white nationalists about your so-called Bible? Put the same passion. Instead of bringing us John 3:16 that never gave us answers. Christians never gave us answers whatsoever. This is hate. If you enjoy watching this shit, if it makes you happy to see the pain of other people,
Yes?
can officially say it now, just like in the New Testament, in the Apocrypha, and in the Old Testament, it says, do not change any words of the scriptures. Do not add on to it or take it away. And now we see that in the Old Testament, in the Apocrypha, and in the New Testament, that it's clearly stating that the Most High hates this freaking beast. He hates them. And I'm glad that he can do that on my behalf, instead of feeling the anger and eating me inside and expressing it towards the wrong people, which is our gente. Instead, it's turned my spirit into more of love towards my people, which is why I do what I do with these classes. This is why I do it. This is what I can give back to my brothers and sisters. Isaiah 34:6, it says there's the sword of the Lord is filled with blood, that is made with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Now keep in mind, just like the scriptures say, the land of Israel is the people before it's a land first. Same thing here. The land of Idumea, it's the people before it's a land first. Verse 8, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the recompense of the controversy. We know that we know Jeremiah said it himself. Let's go to Jeremiah real quick. Just gonna give you guys, we're about to finish up. Jeremiah 5:15. Watch this. He was going to send who? Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation. A nation whose language thou knoweth not, neither understandeth what they say. So they've been around for some time. But remember, keep in mind that Deuteronomy 28 gives us a very good idea of who they are. Deuteronomy 28:49, it says, the Lord shall bring a nation from afar, from the end of the earth, from the other side of the world, as swift as the eagle flieth, with a signet of an eagle, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. What did we just see? A nation that fierce countenance means that that's the only way they fill their spirit, by seeing the pain of other nations. Shows no favor to the old or to the young. Do they care? The woman, our sister, has just had a baby. Did they give a fuck about her or the baby? Don't you think they get a chance to deport an elderly person? They won't do it. This is who they are. This is their modus operandus. This is why you do see the scriptures, and it's very deep into how much destruction is going to come upon these people. A judgment of Edom. Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, thus say the Lord of hosts, it is wisdom no more in Teman. His counsel perished from the prudent. Is their wisdom vanished? And we see now with the selection of people to lead them. They don't care about how smart they are. They just care about how hateful they are, because they want to be filled with that hate. Their spirit is empty. That's why they consume and consume and consume. They have no understanding of nature. Flee ye, turn back deep, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. Check this. We saw it earlier. Their children, would they have enough bread to gather? Obadiah says the same thing. If grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, will they destroy till they had enough? We saw a video about that individual that did the same exact thing. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, he is not. The important thing is the seed of being spoiled. Now, let me remind you of something that happened to us. Now that I have a little bit of time and I'm almost done, let me just read this to y'all real quick. Hopefully I can get this book. Yep. Let me see if I can get the page open. We know that these things occurred to our people. Okay. This is from the book American Holocaust, which is what I brought up earlier, right? Remember? Columbus and the Conquest of the New World. If you go into these pages from like page 146 and on. And I also did a class about this, that they hung 12 of us, and then one was the Messiah, 13. And the reason why was because they said that we were brothers of the Messiah and we deserved to die. I have that book in Spanish. I showed you guys this class. You guys need to go to these classes and actually watch them. They're kind of long, but hey, that's the point. Anyhow, you see the torture and the horribleness? Okay. Let me show you this page real quick. Let me see if I can get it. Oh, yeah, it says here. Let's see. Where are you? There it goes right there. Pay attention to this picture. You see this baby? Look at what he's doing. Okay? That's how they grab our children. The Spaniard took babies from their mother's breast, grabbing them by the feet and smashing their heads against the rocks. You see that? What do you think they says that? You know where else that's stated? Psalms 137. Remember, Psalms 137 verse 7. Remember the topic. I hated Esau. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, Esau, Idumea, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation, meaning destruction. O daughter of Babylon, how art to be destroyed. Happy shall she be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Watch this. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Same thing you did. You called yourselves dukes, family of Esau. Remember the Jews and Muslims of British Columbia? Don't we see that now? We see that very clearly now. Let's go to Obadiah. Finish it up with a couple of verses and that's it. I'm going to do it about 2 hours because it's getting late. I do have work tomorrow. Obadiah 1:16 says this. For ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink and shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not seen. Why is that? Today is near. When you look and pay attention and read Jeremiah 49, and you go back and forth with this chapter, you start seeing Jeremiah 49 explain exactly what Obadiah was saying. Jeremiah 49:11, leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether get unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink it. There's punishment coming. There's punishment coming to this nation. It says it all over the scriptures. And, I don't know why people all of a sudden want to say God loves everybody and Jesus is, for everything. Lamentation 4:21. Are you telling me people can just go and do their damn thing and not pay for it? It don't work that way. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, and dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. You see this? They're drunk of power. They cannot have enough. These are important things that we need to consider and read and determine. Job 3:13, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. See this? And if you continue to look at Malachi 1 and 3, this is where it talks about them being impoverished. Amos talks about the transgressions. Ezekiel 25 reminds us. It's a hypocritical nation, family. So check it. Because it's late, I'm going to pause it right now. I did have some more material, but I'll save it for another class, I think. It'd be important to follow through. Now, let me show you something real quick. Let's see. Just for the sake of Blue Letter Bible. Give me a second. Because I think we need to make some clarity here. Give me a moment. I should be done. Let's see what we got here. Give me a second. There it goes. Okay. So for the sake of the translation, I wanted to show you guys something here. Because, we said Esau, Edom, right? And I also showed you that Herod is from the family of Idumea, correct? Which Herod is from Greece. They're Greeks from the split of the kingdom after Alexander the Great died between 4 generals, right? Herod was under one of those lineages. Can't really remember right now. And he was an Idumean. Look in the history. Check this out. So in Ezekiel 36:5 says, therefore, thus say the Lord God, surely the fire and my jealousy have spoken against the residue of the heathen, right? All the other nations, Psalms 83, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for prey. Remember, people before land, but they're both in those lands. They're here and they're over there. Now, who's Idumea? Right? I'm not making words up, fam. This is them. Idumea, right? We go to H123, concordance.
Strong's H123. Edom.
See? And who was Herod? The Idumean. Herod the Great was born in the land of Idumea, or Edom. He was an Edomite that had adopted the customs of the Jews. Herod the Great was Herod a Greek? I'll show you. Was Herod a Greek? Herod was a Greek name. Herod was committed Hellenist in an empire of Roman culture. He technically wasn't a Jew because the mom was, supposedly. Oh, we got a late one. Look, we got a late one. Another idiot. Open your mouth. Another idiot. It's not enough, man. No matter what you do, I use their material, their own material. I use it, and you still can't convince idiots. No wonder they voted for Trump. Just the way it is, you know what I'm saying? You just can't get through it. You just can't get through dumbasses. So we know Idumea. I don't want to go through all of that. We understand now real quickly here, right? So let's not get confused. But other than that, again, I'll follow up with another class because I do have some more material. I want to show you that book a little bit further so you can actually see some of the important translations of that book that I found. But go ahead and download it. And before I go, let me show you this real quick. This is why They do what they do. Okay, I've showed you this video before. Let me show it to you again. All right, check it out. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. Sorry, this is it right here. Oh, is this one? Oh, what is it? Oh, here it goes right here. All right, listen to this.
Es un criminal sionista, lo digo abiertamente, él apoyó a Trump y es íntimo de Netanyahu. Entonces, cuando llegó Netanyahu a Dallas, Texas, que había un grupo de judíos o israelíes, no sé cómo se diga ya eso, le decían, oye, ¿por qué persigues tanto a los palestinos? Y les dice, los palestinos son para nosotros los israelíes lo que los mexicanos son para ustedes en Estados Unidos. Entonces, yo veo la palestinización de los mexicanos en Estados Unidos.
Con todos los componentes.
¿Cómo?
Con todos los componentes, porque primero Estados Unidos le roba el territorio a México, después le termina de construir un muro, después los ataques xenófobos y racistas por un componente étnico y religioso también. ¿Qué falta?
Bueno, falta el último capítulo. Vamos a empezar a ver, hay que tenerlo en el escenario, una gran discriminación sobre los mexicanos. Eso a mí me queda muy claro. Y Estados Unidos, porque aquí la pureza blanca del WASP, el racismo, supremacismo, es igual que la pureza inventada de los nuevos judíos del siglo XXI, que ni son semitas. Lo digo con responsabilidad. Hoy uno llega a Tel Aviv y el 25% habla ruso. Son de origen házaro. Los házaros, lo digo también con definiciones puntuales, son mongoles centroasiáticos. No son semitas. En Estados Unidos, que es un crimen.
See, I told you. Anyhow, I'll try to do one next week. I hope I was edifying to you, fam. Make sure you take the notes, download the material. Again, that book of Joshua confirm it. I just wanted to show a specific verse on that because I thought it was very interesting. You know me, man. I always say confirm everything. Don't be an idiot like this guy. He has no idea what the actual history is, and they say it themselves. But again, people don't want to. They don't want to read, bro. They don't want to read. I'm not a fool. And by the way, who were the first dukes, man? Remember? Just to remind people. Who were the first dukes? Yeah, let's do it. Right, quick. I'll leave it with that. Oh, I was in the wrong one. These were the dukes of the sons of Esau. And again, we saw that they called themselves Esau. We saw it. I didn't say it. They're saying it. I told you guys I would bring out material regarding them. Here, this is an interesting book, by the way, because there's a lot of confusion. Because in one of these pages, he actually says that they are Esau and that the white man is the Israelite. Yeah. So, you can only take certain things to a certain extent. Here it goes right here. I think it says here. No, that's not it. Let me see if I can. Did I highlight it? Yeah, here it goes right here. All right, hold on. The Jews have been wandering of course, speaking of the nomadic people and compared to nomadic people, their civilization. Esau's dwelling was far away from the fertility of the earth, like the Jew who never had a home, fertility, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, is this it? Oh, here it goes. Right here. Check it out. Here it says the Jews get billions of dollars from Germany as reparations. It's funny, man, because both of them claim not to be those people, and I always say projection. You claim not to be these people, yet your history, which you write, which we have, shows that you are those people, which is why I use actual documentation. So I don't just, it's not just a feeling, right? It's an actual history. You know what I'm saying? So I actually teach that shit. Like, for example, in this channel, Byron Bull, I teach that the white man and the black man both enslaved the indigenous people. The white man and the black man both had slaves since 1492. I teach that in this channel. I'm sure you don't believe that because you probably are another dumb Christian. You speak out of line. You don't even know this class. You showed up late and all of a sudden you're making a statement. What the hell's wrong with you people, man? The Jewish state of Israel will collapse in a minute without the continued support, protection, and assistance from Jacob Israel, the white nation Christendom. See this here? I think it's right here. Where is it at? Is it here? Hold on. Man, where are you? I should just, anyways, I'll save it for next time. No big deal. You guys have a good night. Do it. I'm going to play it songs and then I'll call it a night. I hope you guys took notes. Sorry for doing a late class. Brothers that kind of wait for me to do it on the weekends. I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it. So, my bad. You guys have a good night. Buenas noches a todos. Especialmente a mi familia that's sincerely listening in.
My mom likes hugs.
Hold on, fam.
She
Appreciate your support on the channel, fam. You know what we do it here, man. We don't ask for nothing. We don't ask for no funds or anything like that. You know, unlike these funky ass camps, these 12 track chart pushers, unlike that, we don't do that here. We're sincere. We try to do sincere work. Have a good night.
Estamos aquí, oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo Calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú. Tupac se llama Tupac por Tupac Amaru del Perú. América no es solo USA, papá. Esto es desde Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá. Hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco. Es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo, este continente camina, pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura. Somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica. Gambino, mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
cipher tweet. Ahora Babylon Real. En esta ocasión traigo a los gangsters más gangsters de la zona. Y vengo con la familia gang. ¿Cómo dice? Llaman a Real. Traigo el mensaje puro y crudo para el momento. No palabras vanas que rompen los sentimientos. Lucharé y derribaré los muros del lamento. Pídeme pues te daré los sueños que están muertos. Nunca el demonio dio mensajes de amor, pero tampoco los dio el ángel que nos abandona. Quizás miremos diferente el reloj, pero tu cielo es el infierno donde el amor murió. Political violence, criminal silence, physical redemption hasta que acabe el baile. Typical style, musical fraile. Mucha es la promesa en la que se han llevado el aire. Love, love, love. Siente verdad como no en mi corazón. No more, no more, no more. It's a reggae cipher. Feed the world. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Fue que me brotaron alas y ganas de volar. En las buenas mi terreno lleno, en las malas solar. Un muro que decorar. Mis hermanos me sirven de guía, mi estrella polar. Guarda los hilos, me duele hasta respirar. Solo quiero ver verdad. Sigo buscándome lejos de lo que piensas. Más fácil de lo que crees, el esfuerzo trae recompensas. Vale la experiencia si es intensa. No tires de la cuerda si está tensa. Miraban al ocaso con tristeza. Las estrellas devolvían con grandeza su mirar. Nos vimos floreciendo en la maleza. La belleza de las tetas y comienzan a encajar.
Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
51, 52, con un micro de bambú. Más vueltas que Passepartout. Me siento en la old school. It's magnetic kung fu. It's a reggae magnatur. Por las almas sonrientes que acompañan a Zazú. En bambalinas y balú. Son rimas de menú. No salidas de Benur, pero cálida y del sur. Homie, always lonely, but I feeling like a gangsta. 52, 53, a mí sí me ves venir. Por eso me llaman King, ese fue mi devenir. De marchar o seguir, nunca tuve que elegir. La music me eligió a mí, no tengo nada más que decir. Saifa, Puniga, Loba, Grimble, Fire, Killaman, Smoker, Chusta, Feel Light, Rasta, Child Metal, Kimanes. Original a reggae, Saifa again.
Interna en la villa del pingüino, de los Kalin en la antena y los que se encuentran dormidos zarandean tus emociones cual barril de vino, cosas feas quizás en tus ideas, pero aquí no, yo no atino, disparo sin mirar a todo aquel vampiro que el diente quiera hincarme, bro. Si lo digo, no es para pensar, sino para aclarar lo que de siempre estás pensando. Acaba el tan magnífico, imposible de torcer metal, sustar my friend, yeah. Reggae warriors again, making connection after connection, my new world, creating the freedom from them, me more. Nanny boy, represent this game.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Falta presentación si existe nivel. Sobreviviendo en Babilonia escribí al papel mis problemas cuando al final pude entender que para ser feliz solo tienes que querer. Que solamente hay una vida y es para vivir. Busca siempre una alternativa para seguir. No dejes nunca que te digan que no es así. Y prende un poco poco de sativa para estar chill. Ey, superando ansiedades con el humo de gancha. Manchas de un pasado trágico en la cancha. Seguimos siendo fuertes, su mierda no me engancha. Mientras otros esperando a que lleguen en lancha. No matter where you come, no matter where you come from. Solo importa que prestes atención a este sound. Desde the original, kill a man al mando. Oh, na, na, na.
Mira, soy un warrior, sonido legendario. Disfruto cada segundo cuando me subo al escenario. Tengo fuego en los labios, sigo cual mercenario. Pasos de gigante y cora revolucionario. Siento que es necesario, suena el reggae en los barrios. Para que cae el mensaje y para salvar a los más sabios. Entre en mi imaginario, quemo cheques bancarios. Si vienes con la mala vibra, mejor bro, cambia tu itinerario. Ya, 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 ya. Cuando ruge el león suena la música real. Venimos con el ya, 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 ya. Sonido de guión es el sonido original. Ya, 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 ya. Reggae de corazón es el que se hace en unidad. Ya, 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 ya.
What time is it? De reventar el beat. Reggae music pan de hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? De reventar el beat. Reggae music pan de hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti. Pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it that's so real. Lo es man, never fear, never, no, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa. Y nuestra prosa siempre para favor, no. Tú podrás por mierda traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boy son familia, ya no maniga.
خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي واللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي واللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري. Tuve un sueño donde no había amor, se perdía el color de una flor, se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte. Pude hacer algo para calmar en mi dolor, y es por eso que le pongo flow, viviendo alto siempre. Burruco bimba, y es que todo por la familia. Burruco bimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir. Burruco bimba, y es que todo por la familia. Burruco bimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir.
Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boy son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super escalón, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like sin estalón. Esos stage van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada, cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Por connection Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie quería de París, día yo. Los manetes han llegado, están aquí, píalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas, es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida, yo llevaré tus bambas. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, It's original, man. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, yo soy un rocket, ellos Aprilia. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el teto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de Boss Final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el teto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de Boss Final.
Disparo a millas sin mirar y sin mirar, sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manas de la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar piltrafillas, de no nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura, si se apura quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a la partícula, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo.
Niño, prepara la compota que la pera pasa.
Pero vinimos a mejorarla.
Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad.
Saben que no puedo pagarla.
Si pones ridículo y los malos les toca 4 patas. Si quieres esa vaina va a probarla. Solo aquel en el party donde se gana. What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma.
Vive muriendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, so real, lo es man, never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para fabono. Tú podrás por mierda traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo en vez vos sabías, pero yo no.
Familia, familia,
es el que está a la mínimo.
familia, familia,
Comparte almas cristalinas.
familia, familia,
Rastafarian familia.
familia, familia.
Magna Boy, su familia, ya no maniga.
Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los míos, Magna Gate, fire them, fire them. Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it, cross the line on them. Warrior, vengo con los manas y saqué, twilight, fire them, fire them. A girl stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang bang in the street, fire burn if feel away. Rasta man, I got Illuminati play the kill. Stop, shut up on the microphone ballad, and let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang bang in the street, fire burn if feel away. Kick Ray is a king, Magnus thing. Nobody, no kill them.
In a creepy style. Chale, no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja.
Nobody, no kill them.
It's a crispy style. Tally, the fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja.
Familia, Rasta chai is familia.
Kick Ray is familiar.
Familia, pure nego is familia. Familia, Sico, Key Magneto, familia. Familia,
Es el que está a la mínima. Familia, comparte almas cristalinas.
familia, Rasta Zion familia.
Magna Boy, que te ablasta, manego.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.